Good morning. Today is not just another day. It's a gift, a fresh start, a divine appointment with purpose. Before you rush into the noise, take a moment to be still, to breathe, and to remember this. You are not alone, and you are not average. You were created for greatness. There's a calling on your life. The challenges you face today, they're not obstacles, they're stepping stones. What may seem like a delay is often divine preparation. You might not see the full picture yet, but you don't have to. All you need is the next step. Keep walking in faith. Keep speaking life. Keep expecting favor. Don't let negative voices, setbacks, or the opinions of others set the tone for your day. You set the tone. Start with gratitude. Speak with confidence. Walk with purpose. Because what you feed your mind in the morning sets the atmosphere for your whole day. Prizes. Remember, your words shape your world. Speak peace, not panic. Speak strength, not struggle. Speak victory, even if you're in the valley. Your day goes in the direction of your declarations. Doors will open that no man can shut. Peace will guard your heart like a shield. Provision will follow your obedience. You're not behind. You're right on schedule. So before you check your phone, check your thoughts. Align them with faith. Before you carry your to-do list, carry a grateful heart. You're not just going through the day, you're growing through it. You are blessed. You are equipped. You are anointed. Go out and walk like it. The day hasn't even started and yet it's already won. When you open your eyes in the morning, you've already received something priceless. Another day. Not everyone got that same privilege. Breath in your lungs, the beating of your heart, the opportunity to experience another sunrise. These aren't small things. They are miracles we often overlook. Before the busyness begins, before the noise of emails and notifications flood your mind, pause for a moment and recognize this truth. Today is a gift hand delivered to you with intention and purpose. It's easy to fall into the habit of waking up with complaints. Maybe it's a tough week. Maybe your circumstances haven't changed. Maybe the weight of yesterday is trying to follow you into today. But gratitude is not based on perfection. It's not about everything being right. It's about making a choice to find joy even when things are unfinished. The attitude you choose in the first few moments of your morning has the power to shift your entire day. Gratitude is a magnet for good things. When you start your day with a thankful heart, you open yourself up to more peace, more clarity, more energy. It's not that problems disappear. It's that your perspective becomes stronger than your pressure. Gratitude doesn't just change how you feel. It changes what you attract. When you're thankful, you're in alignment with peace, with provision, with hope. You may be walking through a hard season, but even in difficulty, there's always something to be grateful for. Maybe it's the people in your life who continue to stand by you. Maybe it's a lesson learned. Maybe it's simply that you've made it this far and you're still standing. Don't wait until everything's perfect to be grateful. Be grateful now in the middle of it, and you'll be amazed at how strength rises up from within you. When you wake up and immediately rehearse your frustrations, you drain your spirit before the day even begins. But when you wake up and rehearse your blessings, you strengthen your heart. One small shift, just saying a thank you out loud for a new day, can create a ripple effect. It sets the tone. It reminds your mind that today is not an accident. It's a divine opportunity to experience something new, to become someone stronger. Some people woke up this morning wishing they had your problems, because it would mean they still had another day. That's not to make you feel guilty. That's to help you wake up with a new kind of appreciation. If you're breathing, you still have purpose. If you opened your eyes this morning, then there's still something great in store. The very fact that you're here means there's more ahead for you than there is behind you. A grateful heart will always see what others miss. While some see obstacles, you'll start noticing possibilities. While some focus on what's missing, you'll start recognizing what's multiplying. Gratitude doesn't ignore reality. It just refuses to give it all the attention. It lifts your eyes from what's lacking to what's lasting. It opens your spirit to divine strength, wisdom, and direction. So tomorrow morning, or even right now, don't wait for a better mood to be thankful. Let thankfulness become the very thing that shifts your mood. Gratitude isn't passive, it's powerful. It's an act of faith. And when you begin your day with it, you've already begun in victory. You weren't born by accident. You weren't placed here randomly. Before you ever took your first breath, purpose was already written into your life. There is a calling on you, something unique, something meaningful, something eternal. That calling may not look like anyone else's. And that's the point. You were created to fulfill a purpose that only you can carry out. You may not see all of it yet. In fact, most people don't. Purpose doesn't always shout, sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it shows up in ordinary moments, in daily routines, in the small decisions you make when no one's watching. But make no mistake, even when it seems quiet, your purpose is active. Every time you choose kindness over bitterness, faith over fear, excellence over comfort, you're walking in your calling. The problem is, too many people measure their value by what they see in the mirror or by what others say about them. But your worth isn't determined by the approval of people. It's anchored in the one who gave you your identity. You may have flaws. You may have a past. But none of that disqualifies you from your purpose. In fact, those very things may be part of what equips you. Scars can become platforms. Pain can become ministry. What was once broken can be used to build something strong. You might feel ordinary. You might even feel stuck. But don't confuse your current position with your ultimate calling. Where you are now is simply preparation ground for where you're going. A seed doesn't look like a tree, but it carries the full blueprint inside. In the same way, everything you need for your purpose is already inside you. It just needs time to grow. Some people spend years searching for purpose, thinking it's far away. But purpose often begins where you are, with what you have. It may be in how you lead your family, how you show up at work, how you speak life into others. Your calling isn't always on a platform. Sometimes it's in a private conversation, in how you carry yourself when no one claps. Faithfulness in the small things positions you for the big ones. You don't need to chase your purpose. You need to align with it. When your heart is set on serving, growing, and honoring what's in front of you, your calling will start unfolding naturally. Doors will open that you didn't have to force. Opportunities will come that you didn't have to beg for. And you'll realize that you're not chasing your destiny. You're stepping into it. There's greatness in you. Not the kind the world always celebrates, but the kind that heaven recognizes. The kind that leaves legacies, that breaks generational patterns, that lifts others when they're low. You might not feel qualified, and that's okay. Purpose doesn't wait for perfection. It works through availability, humility, and trust. So every time you wake up and wonder if your life matters, remember this: you have a calling. It's not too late. You're not too far behind. What you carry inside of you is needed in this world. Your life is not just passing time, it's fulfilling destiny. When things don't go according to plan, it's easy to feel frustrated, disappointed, or even defeated. We all face moments when the door we were counting on closes, the relationship we hoped for fades, or the goal we were chasing slips out of reach. But what if what looks like a roadblock is actually a redirection? What if that delay, that detour, that disappointment is positioning you for something better than what you were aiming for? We tend to think success comes in a straight line, step by step, goal by goal, all according to schedule. But the journey of purpose is rarely that clean. Sometimes you're rerouted, sometimes you hit walls, but those walls don't mean you're off track. In fact, they may be divine signs pointing you toward a higher path. A closed door isn't rejection, it's protection. A disruption isn't always the enemy. Sometimes it's guidance in disguise. Think about this. You've probably grown more during your hardest seasons than you did during your easiest ones. Comfort may feel good, but growth often happens in challenge. Those tough seasons are where character is shaped, vision is clarified, and faith is deepened. It's where you learn to lean in, to dig deeper, to trust when there's no map. Without those moments, you wouldn't become who you're called to be. Challenges can feel like setbacks, but many times they're setups, not for failure, but for favor. What you thought was a breakdown might actually be a breakthrough in progress. Sometimes you have to be pulled out of something comfortable to be pushed into something greater. If everything always worked out exactly as you wanted, you'd never discover the hidden potential inside you. The resilience, the creativity, the faith that only pressure reveals. You weren't meant to avoid every storm. You were built to overcome. Ships aren't tested in the harbor. They're proven in open waters. And your purpose wasn't designed to stay safe. It was designed to make impact. If you're facing resistance, it doesn't mean you're weak. It may be a sign that you're on the edge of something powerful. The greater the calling, the greater the opposition, but also the greater the grace. You have to stop interpreting hardship as punishment. Not everything hard is harmful. Sometimes it's holy. Sometimes the struggle is sacred because it's shaping something eternal in you. You might not see the full picture yet, but you can trust that there is one. And it's not random. Every detour, every delay, every disappointment is being woven into a bigger plan, one that ends in your good and His glory. What you thought was a wrong turn might actually be the only road that could take you where you truly need to go. God never wastes pain. He never wastes waiting, and He certainly doesn't waste your obedience. When you keep showing up, even when it's hard, you're not just enduring, you're evolving. And every challenge you face today is part of the preparation for the promise you'll carry tomorrow. So lift your head. Don't curse the challenge. Don't rush past the detour. Trust that you are being redirected. Not rejected, not punished, but positioned. Even when it doesn't feel like it, you are right where you're supposed to be. Learning, growing, and becoming more than you ever imagined. So many people live paralyzed by uncertainty, waiting to see the full picture before they move. They say, I'll start when I know how it ends. I'll step out when I'm sure it will work. But faith doesn't work like that. Life doesn't unfold like a GPS where every turn is announced up front. More often than not, the full plan isn't revealed until after you've moved. You weren't called to understand everything. You were called to trust, to walk, and to keep going. It's not your job to figure out all the outcomes. It's your job to take the next faithful step. That step might look small: a phone call, a prayer, an act of obedience, a bold decision no one else understands. But when it's guided by faith, even the smallest step becomes powerful. Too many people wait for certainty and miss their moment. You don't need certainty, you need courage. God often works in layers. He gives light for the step you're on, not the whole staircase. Why? Because if you saw the entire journey, you might get overwhelmed. You might try to skip the process. But the process is the preparation. Every step teaches you something. Every step stretches you. Every step brings you closer to who you're becoming, not just where you're going. Think about it. When you walk through fog, you can only see a few feet in front of you. But as you keep walking, more is revealed. Life is like that. The light you need will show up as you move forward. But if you stand still, waiting for a perfect view, you'll miss the miracle in motion. Progress often begins in mystery. You don't need the entire roadmap, just enough light for today. The truth is, some of the greatest breakthroughs in life begin with blind faith. Not reckless, not thoughtless, but trustful. Faith that says, I don't see it all, but I trust the one who does. Faith that moves even when your knees are shaking. Faith that acts even when you feel unqualified. You don't need all the answers when you're connected to the one who is the answer. That next step might be uncomfortable. It might stretch you out of the familiar, but you were never created to stay in comfort. You were created to grow, to stretch, to move toward your destiny. The enemy of your calling isn't failure, it's fear. And the best way to silence fear is with forward motion. Don't underestimate what obedience in this moment can unlock in the next. Sometimes the next step is just showing up. Show up to the meeting, show up to the prayer, show up to your purpose even when you don't feel ready. There's power in simply showing up. It tells heaven, I'm willing. It tells your future, I'm coming. You don't need to leap a mile. Just take one faithful step. So wherever you are right now, don't worry about having it all figured out. Just ask yourself, what's my next right step? And then take it. Even if it's in the dark, even if it's in faith, even if it's in fear. Because that one step could be the start of everything you've been waiting for. What you say is more than just sound, it's seed. Every word you speak over your life, your day, your future, is either planting hope or planting doubt. Words create atmosphere. They set tone. They shape reality long before you see results. That's why you can't afford to be casual with your language, especially at the start of your day. The first words you speak each morning are like spiritual bricks. You're either building faith or building fear. Too often people wake up and immediately start speaking negativity. I'm so tired. This day is going to be rough. I already know this meeting's going to be terrible. They speak defeat before the day even has a chance to begin. But your words are steering your life. And if you don't like the direction it's going, it's time to check what's coming out of your mouth. You cannot speak defeat and expect victory. You cannot talk stress and expect peace. You have to learn to speak life. Not based on how you feel, but based on what you believe. Even when the circumstances are against you, your words can start shifting the atmosphere. Today is blessed. I am favored. I have wisdom for what's ahead. Peace goes before me. Strength walks with me. Good things are following me. This isn't denial, it's declaration. You're not pretending problems don't exist. You're proclaiming that they don't have the final say. Your words are prophetic. They often arrive in your life before your breakthrough does. You may not see the open door yet, but if you keep speaking favor, the atmosphere begins to align. You may not feel strong yet, but if you keep declaring strength, your spirit will rise to meet it. It's not magic, it's alignment. It's putting your mouth in agreement with what you want to build, not what you want to break. This is why the enemy works overtime to keep your mouth filled with negativity, because he knows he can't steal your calling, but he can trick you into cursing your own progress. He wants you to speak small, to speak fear, to speak defeat. But you have the authority to speak blessing, to speak vision, to speak power into the very atmosphere around you. You can't control every situation, but you can control your declaration in it. You can speak clarity even when you feel confused. Words don't just describe your reality, they shape it. Speak as if heaven is listening, because it is. Speak as if your soul needs reminding, because it does. This is especially important before the day really starts. Before the pressure, before the meetings, before the demands. Don't wait until you're in the fire to start speaking fire-tested faith. Get ahead of your day with your words. Speak strength before the weariness shows up. Speak patience before the frustrations arrive. Set the tone with intention, because if you don't, the world will do it for you. So when you wake up, don't just reach for your phone, reach for your faith. Say something out loud that builds you. Declare something over your family, your work, your health. Don't let silence become agreement with fear. Let your words lead the way. Speak life and watch life respond. Some things might look urgent, but they're not important. Some people might be loud, but they're not wise. You don't need to explain yourself to everyone. You don't need to answer every critic. Silence can be strength. Sometimes protecting your peace means stepping back. It means choosing solitude over noise, stillness over activity. We live in a world that praises busyness, that equates worth how much you're doing. But peace doesn't come from how much you accomplish. It comes from knowing what's worth your energy and what's not. When you try to please everyone, you lose yourself. When you chase every issue, you lose focus. Your purpose is too great to be distracted by things that don't matter. You weren't built to carry every burden. Just because someone wants to vent doesn't mean you have to absorb the negativity. Just because there's conflict doesn't mean you have to take sides. Some things are beneath your calling. And when you learn to let go of the need to always respond, always explain, always engage, that's when real peace starts to grow. You don't rise by reacting. You rise by remaining rooted. That might mean saying no more often. That might mean turning off your phone for a while. That might mean choosing not to attend every argument you're invited to. Peace isn't passive, it's powerful. It says, I know who I am. I know what matters, and I refuse to be pulled into what doesn't. People who live with purpose learn to live with boundaries. They're not rude, they're responsible with their soul. Peace also comes from protecting your inner dialogue. It's not just the external noise you have to manage, it's the voice inside your head. When self-doubt, fear, or insecurity start creeping in, you have to shut them down. Don't entertain lies that don't align with your identity. Don't rehearse failures that God has already redeemed. Speak truth over your thoughts. Fill your mind with what builds, not what breaks, not what breaks. You will notice that the more peace you protect, the more power you carry. You walk into rooms differently. You don't flinch under pressure. You don't overreact. You're steady, composed, full of quiet strength. That kind of presence doesn't just happen, it's cultivated through choices. Daily choices to protect your atmosphere, your time, your emotional energy. So as you begin your day, remind yourself, not everything deserves access to me. Not every call needs to be answered. Not every voice needs to be heard. I will protect my peace, protects my purpose. You don't need an hour-long morning routine or a list of rituals to do this. You just need a moment to be still, to be thankful, to check in with your soul. Ask yourself, what am I carrying into today that I need to release? What do I need to remind myself of before I face the world? Starting centered is not about control. It's about surrender. It's saying, "Oh, before I do anything, I'll remember who I am and whose I am." You're not just preparing for meetings, deadlines, or errands. You're preparing your spirit for influence. Whether you realize it or not, people are watching you. You're setting examples for your children, your coworkers, your spouse, your friends. When you start your day strong, you walk into rooms with calm confidence. You handle pressure with grace. You lead with presence. That kind of strength doesn't just happen. It's built before anyone else sees it. The truth is, the world can't give you the peace you need to start your day. And it won't hesitate to take it if you're not guarding it. That's why you have to start from within. From the moment your feet hit the floor, you have a choice. Will I let this day lead me, or will I lead it? And the answer begins with how you begin. Are you grounded in truth, in gratitude, in purpose, or are you scattered, comparing, already behind? Starting strong doesn't mean everything will go your way, but it means you'll be steady even when it doesn't. It means you can handle interruptions with grace. You can face difficulty with dignity, and you can pour into others without constantly running empty. Because you've already taken the time to fill your soul first. So before the texts start coming in, before the noise of the day reaches your ears, take time to get centered. Breathe, pray, declare, align. Your day is too important to drift through. Start strong and you'll finish with peace. Your peace is a priceless gift. It's not just a feeling, it's a force. It gives you clarity, direction, and stability. But here's the thing, peace doesn't just happen. You have to protect it. You have to be intentional about what you allow into your heart and your mind, because not everything around you is worthy of your attention. Not every conversation needs a response. Not every invitation deserves a yes. Not every battle is yours to fight. There will always be something trying to steal your peace, drama, distractions, toxic people, anxious thoughts. But just because it knocks doesn't mean you have to let it in. You are the gatekeeper of your spirit. You get to decide what enters. Some things might look urgent, but they're not important. Some people might be loud, but they're not wise. You don't need to explain yourself to everyone. You don't need to answer every critic. Silence can be strength. Sometimes protecting your peace means stepping back. It means choosing solitude over noise, stillness over activity. We live in a world that praises busyness, that equates worth with how much you're doing. But peace doesn't come from how much you accomplish. It comes from knowing what's worth your energy and what's not. When you try to please everyone, you lose yourself. When you chase every issue, you lose focus. Your purpose is too great to be distracted by things that don't matter. You weren't built to carry every burden. Just because someone wants to vent doesn't mean you have to absorb their negativity. Just because there's conflict doesn't mean you have to take sides. Some things are beneath your calling. And when you learn to let go of the need to always respond, always explain, always engage, that's when real peace starts to grow. You don't rise by reacting. You rise by remaining rooted. That might mean saying no more often. That might mean turning off your phone for a while. That might mean choosing not to attend every argument you're invited to. Peace isn't passive, it's powerful. It says, I know who I am. I know what matters. And I refuse to be pulled into what doesn't. People who live with purpose learn to live with boundaries. They're not rude, they're responsible with their soul. Peace also comes from protecting your inner dialogue. It's not just the external noise you have to manage, it's the voice inside your head. When self-doubt, fear, or insecurities start creeping in, you have to shut them down. Don't entertain lies that don't align with your identity. Don't rehearse failures that God has already redeemed. Speak truth over your thoughts. Fill your mind with what builds, not what breaks. You'll notice that the more peace you protect, the more power you carry. You walk into rooms differently. You don't flinch under pressure. You don't overreact. You're steady, composed, full of quiet strength. That kind of presence doesn't just happen. It's cultivated through choices. Daily choices to protect your atmosphere, your time, your emotional energy. So as you begin your day, remind yourself, not everything deserves access to me. Not every call needs to be answered. Not every voice needs to be heard. I will protect my peace, because my peace protects my purpose.